Hey, how's it going? We're back. September 3rd, 2025. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's good to be back. Fire off a little chat. Let's see. No one's even betting on my downfall in the chat. No one is placing bets on how many times I'll mute myself, how many times Kev will bark. We love that. I also do think for the real heads, you may notice, I don't think I'm going to mute myself as much. I flipped the mic around. It's usually this button right here. It'd be very hard for me to touch it. So we'll see. We'll see. So, oh, there he is. Kev just wanted to say hi. Is that so bad? Do you still go to the same hair lady in New York? Yes, of course. I'm not going anywhere else. Yeah, someone did had to wait till Swiatek Anisimova match ended. Honestly, it ended right on time. Planning on starting at 3 anyway. If you're not a tennis fan who follows along, what a fun storyline. Anisimova played Swiatek in the Wimbledon final. It was very embarrassing. It was hard to watch. We turned it off. It was she got bageled twice, 6-0, 6-0. It's brutal. She was crying after. I would have been crying too. And I was saying I would have stopped playing tennis after that, but that's why these people are professional athletes and I'm not, because Anisimova came back, beat her in their next meeting in a Grand Slam. Come on. Wow, Emil, I started watching the U.S. Open and I think I love tennis now. Please share your thoughts. That's incredible. Sorry, Victor L. I don't know what this means. As an active DSA guy, haven't been sold on doing any sort of promoting of Graham. Oh, I get it. It was cut off into two messages. We'll talk about Graham. Let me talk about tennis for 1 second. Wow, someone else saying they got into U.S. Open this year too. That's incredible. My thoughts are it's so much fun. I was there. I went live, saw so much tennis, was there for like 10 hours. Going early in the tournament's fun. You get to watch so much tennis. Incredible. We'll get to it. How's everyone doing? Tell me where people are tuning in from. I'm so curious. See, that I actually needed the mute for because Kev's, he likes to be a nut sometimes. Oh, yeah, we got Tucson, Arizona, Belgium. Incredible. Suburbs of Chicago. Which ones? Are you, do we have Kevin McAllister in the chat or what? Brooklyn with 2 N's. I'm not sure if that's actually Brooklyn and they're put 2 N's or if, because I was traveling around the East Coast. There's Brooklyns all over the place and they spell them differently. San Diego, Canada, in the house. Los Angeles. Jacksonville, Florida, largest city in lower 48. I don't know if that's true. Oh, gosh. But yeah, I was gone for a while. I was on the East Coast. It was great. Missed a lot of stuff, obviously. Also, before we even get to like Graham and stuff, I was in a car wash. And I heard the crazy. I was in a car wash because if anyone remembers when I took my phone into a sauna in Ireland and broke it, I can't stop taking my valuables into very hot spaces and ruining them. When I was in New York, I went into a sauna and I wore my eyeglasses in there, and apparently that will bust your lenses, which is just absolutely brutal. Couldn't wear my glasses the whole time. And so I had to go get them replaced. And while I was waiting for them to put it in, I went to a car wash and they had the news on. And I just heard the absolute craziest stuff on the news. Literally there was a group of people waiting for their cars, and everyone kind of just turned to the TV and stared at it. Because I just kind of couldn't believe it. Florida seeks to end vaccine mandates for school children. Governor Ron DeSantis says he would work to repeal any laws requiring immunization. You know, if anyone's seen me tweet, I feel like the last few days I've been like, you know what, I feel good. We can do it. You know, we can take this country back. And then, you know, just opening the news or even just waiting for your car at a car wash, you're just going to get kicked in the dick. Vaccine mandates have eliminated the threat of many infectious diseases, and medical experts said removing the requirements undermines public safety. But anti-vaccine activists have been emboldened to challenge immunization rules, especially since Trump's appointment of vaccine skeptic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary. Let's maha, baby. We got to maha. And this is the part where everyone kind of looked up at the screen, because she talked about how they were bringing up how they were comparing it to slavery. So Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo said Wednesday he is directing the Florida Department of Health to eliminate all vaccine directives issued by the health agency. Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Wow. Who am I as a government or as anyone else, as a man standing here now, to tell you what you should put in your body? I would say you're a public health professional responsible for keeping people healthy and safe. Oof. Scooby, teacher chiming in. I work in a school already and I get sick so much. Please, please vaccinate them. Whew. Every state has laws requiring children to get certain vaccines to attend schools unless they have a medical exemption. Christ, I really hope this is not a... They say, you know, no other state has moved to end vaccine mandates as of now. I mean, this is the first one. I really hope this does not happen. Yeah. That was a very special moment, though. Just being in a car wash, everyone going, excuse me? We're all going to die. Maha's really doing the meme of I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me, huh? Um, yeah, bonding over the downfall of our country. I really don't want to bond over that. That's it's really impossible. I don't know. I'm trying to not be a doom freak, but it's like I put it on Substack today. I'm getting whiplash from vacillating between hope and the belief that a better world is possible and the gnawing feeling of crisis is coming. It's just every day you get pounded. Hey, but Florida's far away. Although I do think we had a Jacksonville yeah, we had a Jacksonville member in the chat. Stay safe out there. Oh, also someone sent are you guys familiar with that are you guys familiar with that Gary Stevenson guy? Apparently he posted this game and I was like, "You know what? It might be a good thing to play on the chat on the live." Let me find it. Someone said progress takes time. It's easy to feel anxiety when you're looking at everything in the short term. Not at all saying it's a guarantee everything's going to be dandy though. I agree, but I don't think I'm looking at this from the short term. I think I'm looking at this from the long term, and that's what's so scary. We're the vaccine stuff, sure, that could be reversed, but I mean, how long does it take before they can wrest power away from people who just seem to have a death wish at this point? And then, federally, we've talked about it on the show. It just feels like we're committing national suicide here with a lot of this stuff. It's not going to be easy to reverse a lot of this stuff. It's easy to destroy things. It's much harder to build them back up. And then when you talk about, all these other countries, green energy that we're now just doing away with. The thing in Rhode Island where we had a wind project that was 80% completed, and they just stopped it. And then altogether, I think they pulled about $679 million worth of wind projects. And, that's not just clean energy. I think the Rhode Island one was going to power about 350,000 homes. Just the Rhode Island one. You're also talking about jobs in all these places. I just, yeah, this feels very long term for me. But hey, maybe we'll pull out of it. Whoa. Someone just said, Victoria, not to change the subject, but I just want to say that as of last Saturday, I'm now officially dating someone I met at the New York City Ben and Emil show. Thank you, Emil. Which show? Also, we're going to need to, wait, the last time we did a show was a while ago. Did you guys meet and then you were friends? And then you started dating? Please give us more than that. Yeah, huge W for Victoria. The D&D one, that was in February. What happened between now and February? Were you guys just friends? I think that was in February. Wow, very cute night to meet too. It was snowing. Very romantic. Snow in New York City, come on. I don't know if we're going to get the whole story. We'll see. Maybe it'll come through. Oh, yeah, Gary Stevenson. Okay, he says, someone made this pretty great game showing why we need to tax wealth, not work. I've not played this yet, but let's see. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully this doesn't... All right. Idle, the wealth race. Can hard work beat passive income? Oh, wait, we got an update. It was very cute and just sort of casual friends with benefits until... Oh, I don't know. Friends with benefits. Okay, sure. Come on, Emil. Think. Great. I love this. I hope more people meet at our show. So you guys were friends with benefits, and then you were like, "Wait, I think we love each other." We've been dating now for what's February? We've been dating now. We've been friends with benefits now for 7 months. I think it's time we take it to the next level. Hey, congrats, Victoria. This one goes out to you. All right, idle, the wealth race. Can hard work beat passive income? How to play. Select difficulty, then click the screen to earn money. Starting amounts are scaled to give you some chance of winning this game. It's possible. In reality, the super wealthy have 10 million plus, not just $500,000. Select difficulty. The rich start with $500,000. Each tap/click equals UK weekly living wage. Both players get 5% compound interest every 5 seconds. 60 seconds equals 12 tax years. Goal: beat the rich who does nothing but has capital. Okay. Let's go easy mode. Oh. Oh, okay, I gotta... Oh, this is never gonna work. I get it. God. Come on. Damn it. This is fucked. I don't even have 100K. How are we on year 7 already? Come on. Damn, the rich really do get richer. Damn. This sucks. Fuckers. Damn. How do I turn the sound off on this fucking thing? That is a nice... I appreciate this game. The lesson: compound interest on capital creates exponential wealth. Those who start with money more often than not outpace those who work for it. The rich earn $397,929 from interest alone. Oh, people like the music. That's great. I love Gary. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with his work, you should check him out. He's kind of made his whole thing talking about taxing the rich, taxing the wealthy, closing the wealth gap. But yeah, that's fun. Send it to your boomer parents who don't get it, and have them click. I wonder if it'd be easier on mobile actually, because I got my shit rocked on uh on desktop. All right, let's talk about Graham Platner. I was actually in Maine. I think I was in Maine when this happened, because I went to Maine on vacation. Beautiful state, lovely place to be. And I actually went to this. It wasn't because Graham Platner's a oyster farmer. It wasn't an oyster farmer thing, but it was a. We went to a lobster dinner that was for the like Maine Lobstermen's Association, and they got up and were giving all these speeches about, looking out for each other, and it was great. So I was all fired up. And then, if anyone hasn't seen it, here we'll play the original thing. Then this video drops. He's a tweet there, and it was a new account. Graham for Maine. He had like no followers. They're still going up and up because the last time I looked, he was at 37,000. He's at 40,000 now. I mean, Jesus, yeah, it's at 4.7 million views. My name's Graham Platner, and I'm running for U.S. Senate to defeat Susan Collins and topple the oligarchy that's destroying our country. I'm a veteran, oysterman, and working class Mainer who's seen this state become unlivable for working people, and that makes me deeply angry. Obviously, I'm interested. I'm gonna watch that video.
What I love most about Maine are the people. I have
Right off the bat, incredible voice.
never met people who are more hard scrabble, even in a place that requires you to work like 2 or 3 different jobs. We have watched this state become essentially unlivable for working class people, and it makes me deeply angry.
He's hitting a lot there. He's pissed off about the affordability crisis. He's talking about working people.
My name is Graham Platner, and I'm running for U.S. Senate in Maine to defeat Susan Collins. A decade of military service going overseas, farming oysters to feed my community, diving to lend a hand to other fishermen, trying to start a family. But everywhere I've gone, it seems like the fabric of what holds us together is being ripped apart by billionaires and corrupt politicians, profiting off of destroying our environment, driving our families into poverty, and crushing the middle class. I did 4 infantry tours in the Marine Corps and the Army. I'm not afraid to name an enemy, and the enemy is the oligarchy. It's the billionaires who pay for it, and the politicians who sell us out. And yeah, that means politicians like Susan Collins. I'm not fooled by this fake charade of Collins' deliberations and moderation. The difference between Susan
Someone said that's some Pawn Stars editing.
Collins and Ted Cruz is at least Ted Cruz is honest about selling us out and not giving a damn. People know that the system is screwing them. They know it in their bones. Nobody I know around here can afford a house. Healthcare is...
Dude, this guy is hitting it all. It's unbelievable. It's like he was like cooked up in a lab or something.
a disaster, hospitals are closing. We have watched all of that get ripped away from us, and everyone's just trying to keep it all together. Why can't we have universal health?
And he's going to hit me with the universal
like
healthcare?
every other first world country. Why can't we take care of our veterans when they come home? Why are we funding endless wars and bombing children? Why are CEOs more powerful than unions? We fought 3 different wars since the last time we raised the minimum wage. I'm not pretending to have all the answers, but I know that I'm asking the right questions. When I tell people around here that I'm running for Senate, sometimes the initial reaction is, what the f***? But when I tell them why I'm doing it, because I truly do believe that we can build a system that is going to represent working people, the #1 response has been, well, thank God somebody's going to do it. You're supposed to fight for the things you love. This is our home, and I will fight tirelessly for it, for you. It's Mainers first, in Maine, always.
I mean, just unbelievable stuff. Obviously, myself included, a lot of people. This came across my feed. It's an incredible ad, but I'm like, come on. Is this guy for real? Is this the real deal? Is this someone who's going to let us down? I mean, talking exactly like you would want a Democrat to talk. He seems like the real deal. I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, I didn't even see this, but I'm very curious about this. What do you think about Graham Platner challenging Susan Collins for the Senate seat for Maine? This is Ask a Liberal. All right. Fuck Susan Collins. LGBTQ, pro-union, pro-healthcare, anti-oligarch, anti-genocide are all pretty solid stances for a Dem, or should be in a perfect world where special interest donors and lobbyists didn't fuck everything up. He seems like a cool dude. I think anti-establishment Dems will be successful this cycle. Let's see what happens. I mean, this is good to see in Ask a Liberal, because, I mean, my big fear is that liberals are going to be coming for this dude. Sounds a lot like the exact kind of politician I'd like to vote for. Wish we could get some of that down here in Tennessee. Not that they'd stand a chance here, of course. Really, I have to imagine, I mean, someone talking about pro-union, I mean, in this case, it would be Tennesseans first, pro-universal health care, taking care of veterans. I'm going to need his platform. Maine is becoming unaffordable for thousands and thousands of us. Why? Because we have a government by, of, and for billionaires who are building a billionaire economy that none of us can afford. Let's see. I mean, he's hitting it all, right? America has entered a new gilded age. We have a government for the billionaires. Talking about Citizens United. Oof. In 1990, there were 66 billionaires in America. Today, there are over 900. When you look around, do you see a community that is over 10 times wealthier than in 1990? Certainly not. Oof, look at this. All right. Ban billionaires buying elections. Rebuild our failing healthcare system. I will be a strong supporter of Medicare for all system. I mean, this is a, this is a red line. It's like, with the way this is all going, it's, if anyone's doing the thing of like, I want to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, you got to get the fuck out of here. I mean, now you're talking my language. Break up the monopolies. Not shying away from, not throwing immigrants under the bus here to appeal to Republicans. Stop the mass deportation machine, pass real immigration reform. Climate guy. I am curious about the guy who said like this would never work in Tennessee or whatever. I'm very curious as to why. Someone keeps talking about, are we talking about the guy who said he was against the Iraq war and then proceeded to kill babies in Iraq for 15 years, including working for a PMC? I'm not really sure about a guy who proudly brandishes the fact that he volunteered to help America commit genocide everywhere he goes. Where does he, what is that? What are you seeing about him committing genocide? I'd love to, I'm happy to look into that if you explain what you're saying. But so far, I'm loving it. Talking about the housing crisis. I mean, yeah, this is just unbelievable. Tribal sovereignty and self-determination. And the failed war on drugs. Oh, okay. So Mama Shibe says, I saw him in the Reddit AMA talking about it, and he's putting the fact that he's a veteran forward. everywhere. Well, I mean, he is a Marine. I don't think he's going to. Yeah, I don't know. I come from a military family. I don't necessarily. It's going to be hard for me to go along with the thing that everyone who everyone who served in the military needs to like apologize for their serving, especially when it's a thing that, especially lower income people end up doing because it's an option for them. I mean, I certainly know that's how my dad was able to go to college and stuff like that. So look, there's not a lot of great options in this country. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna write this guy off for serving in the military. I mean, I'd have to write a lot of people off in my family for that. I don't know. So I mean, even if he fought in Iraq, he still has better policies than 99% of politicians in power right now and represents a step in the right direction. I mean, yeah, this feels like a tough, yeah, we're handed a gift here and we want to make him apologize for serving in the military. That one's going to be tough for me. Yeah, someone says, guys, he's on our team. More of this guy in power is a good thing. Don't get caught out on these kinds of differences. Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree. Yeah, people serve in the military because they don't have better options most of the time. It's a path out of poverty for a lot of people. Yeah, that's that's literally so much of my family's experience. So, and you know what? He's running for office. You know, I think he should put that forward. He served for this country. I think it's going to be easier for him to convince people that he does believe in this country and that he's sacrificed for this country. So that combined with these policies, yeah, I got nothing wrong with that. Unless I don't know. It sounded from what you were saying, it sounded like he was maybe bragging about genociding someone or talking about how he killed babies or I don't. So I don't know about any of that. It does seem like he did serve in the military. So I'm stoked about the guy, honestly. Someone said, Layla says the white man's granola Zoran. Doesn't feel off. I mean, but this kind of stuff is honestly, this combined with the Zoran stuff, it was what kind of made me feel a little bit hopeful for the first time in so long, where it was like, oh my God, we can be this country. We can, we don't have to be, we can build things. We can provide for people. We can stop the endless war. Also, for the person who was talking about his military stuff, I mean, let me see if I can find. I think he kind of is the real deal because there's like a very funny. Oh yeah, from my old yearbook, we'll see. And I believe he has. Oh, it's in a different picture, but he has like free Palestine on there. Free, it's impossible to read, but I believe this is supposed to be Palestine right here. But other people have pointed it out. So, I mean, America killed hundreds of thousands of civilians in Iraq. And even though he said he was against the war, he still signed up to participate in that. Yeah. Do you want to disqualify anyone who served in the military from public office? I'm not really sure what you're arguing for at that point. I don't know this guy's circumstances exactly. I don't think signing up to go to war is usually done lightly or out of an abundance of options, but there's a difference between not having any other choice and plastering that everywhere. Yeah, but I talked about why you would like if you're running for office, why would you not? That's not a very convincing. If he came out and was like, "I'm ashamed of what I've done. I'm ashamed of this country." I mean, that's not really an appealing offer to people. You know what I mean? I want someone who's like, I love this country. It's like with Zoran, you know, it's the reason he's so because he loves New York. You know what I mean? All these other people are these. Someone said Emil's getting one guide. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna get one guide, but I think this guy's good, and it's okay if you think it's disqualifying that he served in the military. But yeah, I'm gonna continue on my being Platner built, at least for now. This is the other thing too. Look, it's possible with any of these guys. Like there are so many people on the left who want to do this thing where it's you see it with Zoran of like, oh, he's only gonna let you down. Like, you know, he's already capitulated on this, that, or the other thing, and it's like, yeah, he might, but what is if that's how you feel about it, that's fine. But at least tell me like where I should be putting my energy otherwise. Like when there's a viable candidate with policies like these, they very well may let me down. And Graham Platner could be a big fat fucking dud. It could be just like he could win, and it's just another fucking turd in Congress, right? But what is the alternative? What is a better if he meets all these standards, right? And he's saying everything I want him to say. I mean, just listen to some of this.
We need to bring the Democratic Party back to the party it was supposed to be. It is supposed to be a party of working people. It is supposed to be a party of unions. It is supposed to be a party of community organizations. It is supposed to be a party that fights for the downtrodden and the exploited. It is not supposed to be a party that supports the corporate interests that have always supported the Republican Party. The Democratic Party of today needs to change, but we need to change it. Nobody is coming down from on high to save us. We have to do this work ourselves.
I mean, I've said those things. I think it was like in that Substack piece I wrote after the election about the fact that like the Democratic Party cannot be the party of the working class and the party for Jeff Bezos. It can't be these two things. I mean, all this stuff about no one's coming to save us. I mean, these are things I've said and he's saying them. I mean, it's things that there's been like basically one person, and that's usually Bernie Sanders saying, and you go, Jesus Christ, I wish he wasn't fucking a million years old. But it's unfortunate that that's the only guy who says stuff. And now you got another guy. And it's unreal. Someone says, as a Palestinian in 2025, I can't lie, I picked the guy who's vocally pro with leftist values and served in the military in the past versus the guy who didn't serve in the military and is a centrist APAC guy. I mean, yeah, I have to agree. There was another one that I wanted to bring up, look, I know Bernie Sanders has been disappointing a little bit on the Israel front, and I think left a lot to be desired. And but he's still very the best you got right now in Congress, probably. And people are getting fired up about these Fight the Oligarchy tour, and he actually went to Maine to do one and had Graham Platner on it. Let me see if I can. And I think the line of the night was about Palestine. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. It's gone a little bit viral now.
Our taxpayer dollars can build schools and hospitals in America, not bombs to destroy them in Gaza.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's an insane line. I'm pretty sure the rest of the entire video is just applause. But like, who is that? I would love if that person would chime in. I'm very curious why they think someone like this could not run in Tennessee or wherever. Because I mean, uh, my thing when I saw this, I was like, why? There's got to be guys like this all over the country. Why can we not just have them running for Congress, running for Senate? But like, who is that message not going to resonate with? Our tax dollars building schools and hospitals here, not bombing schools and hospitals in Gaza. I mean, the Dems across the board need to start saying the same message and actually voting like they mean it, or the party is dead. It's already on life support. I mean, I agree. I honestly, but it's always going to be this, right? There's going to be this war between people like this and the DNC, Democratic leadership, because they don't want to talk like this. They want to be the party. They want to be the party of the working class and Jeff Bezos at the same time, which is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It means you're going to say nice things and then do whatever your big donors tell you. I work in a blue collar job in the South, and all my coworkers love Trump. Interesting. You don't think if someone talked like this that people would that message would resonate with them and they'd want to? Because that's disappointing to me, because I do hold this belief that Trump is appealing because if you're being offered the status quo and the status quo doesn't work for you, well, then you're like, let's vote for someone who is at least who's at least different. It might be bad. I'm from Maine and so excited to have a viable Susan Collins challenger. Yeah. I mean, this is the other thing too. He has, he's naming names. This was, many people have made this point, but Bernie Sanders in 2020 was so afraid to fucking go after people. He was so afraid to attack Biden. And I think it cost him dearly. And I think that's why we're in the situation we're in. Zoran Mamdani, I think it's maybe a little bit of a different situation, because Zoran Mamdani got very lucky because Andrew Cuomo was so reviled, and he had to step down because he was such a fucking creep, a sex pest, assaulting women who worked for him. So that was kind of, and then also Eric Adams, So they weren't going after he wasn't going after some establishment Dem who was at least somewhat respected or liked. Graham has the same thing here with Susan Collins. He's able to go after her. So I am curious about upstart progressives trying to challenge incumbents with someone that people are maybe not love, but who's the guy who's there's a guy who's running for, I think he's running against Nancy Pelosi. And I'm like, that one's one where it's a little bit harder. She deserves to be attacked for her record and stuff like that, but like running against her in San Francisco, she's beloved. I don't know how who's Nancy Pelosi. Oh man, that seems so bad. Nancy Pelosi race. I don't want her race. I went fuck. No, what is it called? Election. Oh. Okay, here we go. What is his name? I'm blanking on it. Sakat Chakrabarti I've got some news. I've decided to run against Nancy Pelosi to represent San Francisco in Congress. I know some of you might be surprised that Speaker Emeritus Pelosi is running again, but she is for her 21st term. Like, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know much about this guy. From his like cursory stuff, he seems like he'd be better than Pelosi. Maybe I do think he's a little bit abundancy, but hey, I'm open to seeing anybody try to unseat these, the oldest people in the world. All respect to, what is that guy's name? Oh, wait. Also, there was someone in the chat I wanted to see. Oh, he never responded. The guy who was talking about working a blue-collar job in the South. Read that guy. Is there anything that's a convincing cultural piece about why Trumpism is so viral? Do people just don't like the message of peace? I don't think that's it. I mean, look, also, the people are not a monolith, so it's like a whole bunch of things. But I do feel like there's a genuine, there's a very real resentment when it comes to Democrats. I think it's, I mean, all this stuff people are talking about, that video Graham's talking about of, the way he's talking about the Democratic Party, of what it used to be.
We need to bring the Democratic Party back to the party it was supposed to be. It is supposed to be a party of working people. It is supposed to be a party of unions. It is supposed to be a party of community organizations. It is supposed to be a party that fights for the downtrodden and the exploited.
And I think, there was a time when it was at least holding on to that. I think, in my view, the Democratic Party has, at least for the last, I don't know how many decades, has spent more of its energy fighting the left than the right. But ostensibly, it was the party for the working class, and it has lost its way so badly that is so far from the truth. My best guess is it was his anti-woke stance. A lot of dudes see inclusion as an attempt to exclude them, and Trump was bold in his masculinity, and they saw it as taking back what was theirs. I mean, sure, I'm sure that is a part of it. Trump actually does stuff. He's a mover and shaker. It honestly puts them to shame. Honestly, as much as I hate the guy, I think I've said it on the show. There are things. I hate the things he's doing, but the way he's going about getting things done, obviously those things are horrible, so please don't take this the wrong way, is like some of these things is stuff I would expect. Like everyone talking about Bernie Sanders, they're like, oh, well, even if he gets in, he's not going to be able to do anything. It's like, well, he'd have to do some of this stuff. If he wanted to get Joe Manchin to fall in line, he'd have to be like, well, if you're not going to vote this way, I think we're going to have the Department of Justice look into what your daughter's doing with her companies and stuff, because it feels like there's a lot of corruption there. And see if Joe wants to vote his way. You got to have a bold vision for getting things done. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything done. John F. Kennedy going to war with the steel industry. Someone said, I'm Canadian, but I'm going to assume people are concerned about other states and their elections because it has a significant ripple effect. Yes, exactly. I mean, people obviously AOC was probably one of the biggest examples of this. And look, that's probably a point against the people who say like, oh, they're just going to let you down. AOC has been a bit of a letdown. I don't think she's the worst, but it's, she's had some extremely unfortunate moments with the Gaza stuff. I think, she's going to have a really hard time living down that whole working tirelessly for a ceasefire thing. But yeah, it's, in those things you're seeing like DSA membership surge, and for a while they were called the Squad. I think there was only 4 of them. It was Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, blanking on the last one from Massachusetts, but yeah, it has ripple effects. People go, oh wow, we can have someone like that. Look, incumbents can win. Yeah, and look, I think a lot of the Squad was a big part of a push from those people called Justice Democrats. It was that movement of people who were, which I think was a great idea. I think it maybe hasn't panned out in the way they thought it would, but Justice Democrats was, they were basically trying to run a nationwide program for finding basically people like Graham Platner. It was people would nominate people from their community and say, hey, I think this person would make a good candidate. And they would be vetted by Justice Democrats. And then I think they had a whole nother wing of their team doing research about what the district is like and if it's winnable, all these things. So yeah, I think it can have massive effects of like inspiring other people to run, being a voice for, I mean, the left is so powerless in this country. Just having someone in Senate who talks like this is just massive. I mean, there's very few people who can even articulate some of the things people believe. It's so I think it can be massive. And who knows? Maybe I don't think he's going to be I don't think he'd be a viable 2028 candidate, but this guy seems like he might be able to go the distance. I don't know. At least I hope. You got to have some kind of hope. Someone talking about building things? Oh my God. Please. Oh, he responded. It's mostly guys under 30, but they just believe the rhetoric of less taxes equal good. Honestly, that's encouraging to hear because that's like overcomable. That's surmountable. If it's if you were just gonna say like, I don't know, they're fucking virulent racists or something, that's much harder to overcome. But I think providing people with a message that we're gonna tax wealthy people, not working people, we can win those votes, baby. We can win those votes. I'm telling you. I mean, I don't know. Wait, there was another one. Let's see what this one's all about. Someone sent this to me. Is this the same one? Oh, no.
I believe that a politics that is willing to sell anyone out is a politics that will eventually sell everyone out.
Also, the other thing is, someone was talking about, like, I mean, just the ability to have, like, somewhere for, there are so many people who I think just resonate with this message, and there's just nowhere to put the energy. I think it's why I feel like a bit more, like, hopeful. I mean, between Zoran and this, I just had, like, nowhere to even... The ability, I spend a decent amount of time in New York. The ability to go to New York and like insert myself into a system that already can have volunteers just enter in and like actually be making some kind of difference, knocking doors. I mean, I live in a different city, and I don't even know how many doors I've knocked in New York for Zoran. I mean, over the last few months. I mean, hell, I want to go to Maine and just fucking talk to people about Graham Platner. And seeing people just like, I mean, these are just massive applause breaks.
We must stand in the way of those attacking the right of women to make choices about their own bodies.
I love that. I love that he knows the applause for that one's gonna go so crazy. He's like, maybe a good time for some water. Yeah, I think they're gonna keep going for the freedom of choice stuff.
We must stand in the way of those attacking the rights of the LGBTQ community to have the same liberties and protections as everyone else.
Okay, so there's another president. Saw some people talking about him working for Blackwater in 2018. I don't know if it's true. Gave me some pause. Otherwise, he seems awesome. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm happy to look into it. Let's see. First thing that comes up, I guess, when you type Blee. I also don't look. The purity test thing sometimes is very difficult. I don't know. Oftentimes when you get out of the military, it's like the best. This is like by far the best job opportunity for you. I don't know. Let's see. Employer Continentalist year to date. I mean, but what does that mean? He made $1,000? Oh no, that's a. Hmm. Okay. Well, let's see. Make of it what you will, but Platner quit within a year and has since described the experience as radicalizing. It was then where whatever cynicism and disillusionment I had once was just thrown into overdrive, Platner says, explaining he saw the same things as he had seen years prior: failed strategies, tactics, policy, and what can only be called fraud, the theft of American taxpayer dollars just being shoved into the pockets of private companies. He tells me that what he witnessed really underscored his larger critique that the system in the US serves to extract wealth from working class people, all to give to a small handful. So that same year he quit, went back to Maine, and began getting involved in aquaculture. I hung up the guns and I never looked back. Yeah, someone said a candidate openly having left-wing policies is a win, even if they aren't the perfect candidate. In my opinion, left-wing movements electorally will be different, especially in America, than an idealized left. I mean, yeah, I have to say I don't necessarily agree with I don't necessarily agree with writing this guy off, but what did this say? Let's try a thought experiment. Think about what you knew about Blackwater in 2018. Now imagine what a 33-year-old who had already served 2 tours in Iraq knew about Blackwater in 2018. Is this persuasive to you? This is who you want to put in Congress? Kinda, man. I don't know. He's like talking about stopping bombing schools and hospitals in Gaza so we can build them here. That's kind of who I want to put in Congress. I have to agree, man. The not beating the allergic to power. I hate that. I think it's a what's that lady's name? ContraPoints. That like that quote I see everywhere. They don't want power. They want to endlessly critique it forever or whatever. I usually hate that, but Someone saying we've been one guide. I get it, but I do find this helpful. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I like that there's a lot of people here who are engaged in talking about this kind of thing. I think it's an important conversation to have, especially if people are going to go out and talk about this guy, and people might be like, "Well, I already works for Blackwater." I mean, it's good to know. Plattner is relatable to many people as someone who first embraced his zealotry identity, experienced disillusionment in that framework, and found the courage to confront those beliefs and settle into a more moral personal belief structure. I do think, I mean, yeah, I think we do this kind of like heuristic thing with with people. It's like very for the internet. We go like, oh, good, bad. You're just filtering people constantly, and you leave no room for people um, to change or be different. But hey, I'm also not gonna. If it's too much for you, that's fine. I mean, this is definitely true. If Plattner wins, it'll be because of his anti-genocide stance. I don't care what he thinks, his intentions are. If he wins, his political power will be derived from that stance. He'll be made to follow through on that stance or alienate the base of his political power. Also, just I fucking hate the internet sometimes. Like I don't know if you want to talk about this guy's qualifications and whether or not it's too much, but just I can't stand like internet speak around this. Graham Platner worked for Blackwater Constellus in 2018. Deeply sus. Kill me with a gun, please. Oh, look at this. Dang it. So, if Graham has changed, I think it's fair to ask what he has done, besides make promises that shows he has changed. For example, Zoran has a history of legislation. I mean, it does seem like he's changed. He's committed his life to being a blue collar guy in Maine. Um, but someone said, I was Jordan Peterson pilled in freshman and sophomore year, ended up graduating in sociology and studying polarization. I also worked for Blackwater and I've changed. Just kidding about the last part. I mean, it's true. Fucking tell me in the chat if you've never had bad opinions or changed at all. Someone said, I'm skeptical of the hard focus on Gaza for this race. He's a Democrat who's actually from Maine, unlike Sarah Gideon was. It could really be that simple. I don't know if it is that simple, honestly. I think the Gaza thing is a red line for a lot of people, and people aren't really reckoning with that. I think, and I also don't think that's the main focus. I think, honestly, much like I think mainstream Democrats will make that his focus. I think his focus is affordability. I think it feels very similar to Zoran for me. People can't afford to live in Maine anymore. They're working 2-3 jobs. They can't afford their house. They can't afford their health care. They can't afford to provide for their children. And I think people are going to want to make it about Gaza because for a long time that worked, right? Susan Collins, you can tell she's a dinosaur because the first thing she said is like, feels awfully anti-Semitic of Graham Platner. And everyone's like, nah, dude, that's not gonna work. So I don't think he's being like, I'm the Gaza candidate. I don't think he's doing that at all. Someone said agree with Carter. Maybe I misunderstood Carto's comment, and I apologize if I misunderstood that. But my point still stands. I think that's what his campaign's gonna be all about, and I think that's a winning message. But yeah, I can't imagine Democrats are gonna love this guy. Mainstream Democrats. It's gonna be very similar to the Zoran thing, I imagine. An oyster farmer. Oh, we also got it. I mean, we'll get to Jerry Nadler. An oyster farmer sparks a populist fire in Maine Senate race. So he said, I think there's a segment of leftist people who really do draw a line with Gaza, but I think that is a smaller population than that group thinks it is. That might be true, but I also don't think he's trying to be the Gaza candidate. I think is as you can see from his platform, I think it's a lot of things. It's I don't even know if it's on his platform. I think his thing is more someone said you gotta get an ad blocker, my man. Tell me which one to get. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it feels way more affordability. Billionaires buying elections, healthcare system, small businesses, immigration, climate, housing, healthcare, Social Security. Someone said, not from the US, so let me know if I'm wrong here, but I'm under the impression that Gaza is going to be huge for somewhat single issue and first time voters. I tend to agree. I think it's a much bigger issue than people think. There was that polling after the election that I believe among people who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 and people who stayed home in 2024, meaning they didn't vote for Kamala, they didn't vote for Trump either, they just stayed home. I believe like the number one issue was Gaza. So I don't think that's going to be a red line for everybody when you talk about people, candidates getting over the finish line, being able to beat Republicans and that kind of thing, I think they're going to have to change. Not only change, I think it's either they're going to have to prove that they meaningfully made mistakes on this, and there's going to have to be mea culpa or new candidates, because I just don't think it's going to work anymore. He also urged Senate Democrats to play hardball and refuse to provide the votes necessary to fund the government ahead of a September 30th deadline. Democratic leaders are still smarting over their decision to allow Republicans to fund the government in March, resulting in widespread political blowback for Chuck Schumer, top Democrat in the Senate. But shutting down the government wouldn't come without risks for Democrats. In addition to keeping many federal workers off the job, it would allow Republicans to wallop vulnerable Democrats ahead of the next year's midterm elections. And this is from Platner. We're at a point where I honestly do not care about what some pundit's opinion on what a government shutdown may or may not look like in an election year from now. I'm sorry, we're beyond that. Whatever can be done to slow down this speed run towards authoritarianism that we are currently undertaking, anything that we can do to slow that down is necessary and should be done. We've created this kind of absurdity for ourselves, so we may as well at least use this absurd system we built to do something good and maybe slow down what is currently happening. God damn. It's funny. I before I saw it, I thought it was like a term of endearment, Maine's Mamdani, but it's Republicans and GOP friendly news outlets have dubbed Platner Maine's Mamdani. Like, this shit's just not going to work anymore. They also slammed the Maine Senate candidate for criticizing Israel and its war in Gaza, a position he hasn't shied away from on the campaign trail. Like, for who is it? I mean, they've lost the country on this issue. I mean, especially Democrats. I just think they're so far behind the ball. It's absolutely insane. A lot of nice haircuts coming in the chat, and I just want to say they don't go unnoticed. I appreciate that. You know, I had to get cleaned up. Look, all I'm going to say about Platner is I like what he's saying. He's got me fired up. Obviously, I got a pinch of skepticism with any of these people. We've been let down so many times, but unless you got a better unless you got a better option for me on this one, I'm going to continue to be a little hopeful. People are making fun of me for the ads I get. Where do you even see an eczema ad? The hell out of here. The LL Bean ad is mine though. Oh, maybe this is for eczema. Hey, look, I don't have eczema. All right. This is, I mean, Jerry Nadler, congressman from New York, stepping down. Let me see if I can find it because there's like, it's. I mean, this should not be shocking. This is. I hate that the bar is so low. It's in the fucking floor. I mean, it's in the basement. And so, like, when someone just does something they should, we all have to do a round of applause. So, in a recent interview in his downtown Manhattan office, Mr. Nadler, 78, said he hesitated to step aside when he believes that President Trump is threatening the foundations of democracy. But he said that he had been persuaded it was time for a changing of the guard. Watching the Biden thing really said something about the necessity for generational change in the party, and I think I want to respect that. Mr. Nadler said, adding that a younger successor can maybe do better and maybe help us more. I don't even want to applaud this. This is just what, I mean, the guy's 78. You know, thank you for your service, but good God, man. What do you mean you're going to mount a re-election campaign? I got to take a drink of water. Also, it's hot as hell in LA. Hot as hell. Came back from I left New York, and it was the end of August. It was one of those years. It feels like they're having an early fall. It was like just perfect. It's unbelievable. Didn't want to leave. I never want to leave New York, even when it's 100 degrees and muggy. Still the greatest place to be. Greatest place in the world. I gotta get back. Maybe I can spend more time there somehow to, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, is this the kid? Is this the kid who, like, yes, that's who's challenging him? We got to get someone better than this. Stretching from Union Square through Central Park. Should I move to the Upper West Side and run for Jerry's seat? No, I'm joking. I don't even want to put that. That's it's my nightmare. You got to be a sicko to want to do that. Come on, name names. Mr. Nadler also declined to name specific colleagues he believed should retire. I mean, I bet we could. How about anyone older than him? Though he acknowledged that other aging Democrats ought to consider it. I'm not saying we should change over the entire party, but I think a certain amount of change is very helpful, especially when we face the challenge of Trump and his incipient fascism. Would you move back to New York? Yeah, definitely. I want to. It's the best. For years, he has tried to stake out a space for a politics that was both pro-Israel and progressive, but in the interview, he conceded that Israel's brutal prosecution of the war in Gaza had not only turned Democrats against a former ally to a very major extent, but made his own position increasingly hard to maintain. I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's they're realizing that this is Israel's made it basically impossible for them to hold steady on these positions. I mean, anyone who like Mr. Nadler here, who claims to be a progressive and believe in human rights and these things, they've made it impossible. I don't know what to say at this point. I can't defend what Israel's doing. But yeah, I mean, I do hope hopefully other. How about just anyone above Jerry Nadler's age? Anyone 78 and above, we can say, maybe it's time to pass the torch. I want him to list the names like a reality TV show confessional. Honestly, everyone's too polite. That's why the Zoran thing is so fun, because you get to just like watch him lay into Cuomo and Adams. You know, the best we get is to watch Trump do it. We all watched him do it in 2015 and 2016. He bullied the entire Republican presidential field. He bullied them into submission and took over the entire party. Now, he's a horrible person, but he's at least laying out a blueprint for, I mean, all this stuff. The amount of things he does that people are just like, he can't do that, and then he just does it. And meanwhile, we have like, I'm not going to get my student loan cancellation because Biden couldn't just figure it the fuck out. We're having fun. We're having fun, folks. Got any fiction book recs? I need a new book. Honestly, I've been reading so much nonfiction. It's like hard for me to even think about. Actually, the last fiction book I read was, you just reminded me. I have to text my friend because they wanted me to read it so badly that they drove over and they dropped it off on my front doorstep. And it was, I read it so quick, maybe in like 2 days. It's called A Horse Walks Into a Bar, and the whole book takes place while this guy is doing stand up on stage in Israel, and a guy he knows from childhood is basically watching and narrating, and it's a crazy. I've never read anything like it. That was probably the last fiction book I read. Everything else has been very fiction heavy. I feel like when I don't know, when the world feels scary, I seek. I'm like, I need to understand everything or something. Oh, someone reading East of Eden right now, and it's very, very good. I'm jealous. I mean, if I could go back and read that for the first time, oh, that one. I don't know where you are, but that one's gonna knock the wind out of you. Still, I feel like maybe there was one other one, but I know that was definitely the first time. I mean, a book ended and I just cried. I was like, "What the hell is happening to me? That one is a ride." Read more fiction. I know. I'm not. This is by no means. This is not anti-fiction. It's just, sometimes I'm like a little. It's just wherever it's taking me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm on a deep sci-fi dive. Sometimes, right now, I'm just nonfiction quest. Okay, let me. Cannery Row is also great. It is great. What's the other one? Tortilla Flats. Just read more Steinbeck. Can't believe Emil said he hates fiction. Everyone who likes fiction. Yeah, I mean, I should be careful on the internet, right? It's the famous tweet. You can log on to this site and say, "I like waffles," and everyone will be like, "Why do you hate pancakes?" Also, since we're on Steinbeck, maybe a good place to leave it. We'll end on it always whenever I think about him, I remember he wrote this letter to his son. That's just so new AI. No, not interested. Fuck out of here. Oh, I'm 40% of the way through Devil's Chessboard. That's one of the all-time greats. I hope you like it. They said it's kind of brutal. I know it is brutal, but I hope you're at least enjoying it. I found it that's maybe one of my favorites. All right. Now all the questions are coming in when I was saying we're heading out. All right, Emil, I got a Bruce question. Fine. We'll do a Bruce question. We'll do a Bruce question. Hit me with your Bruce question, or I'm reading the thing. All right, we're going for it. Dear Tom, we had your letter this morning. I will answer it from my point of view, and of course, Elaine will from hers. Oh, they don't give the background. Wait, how do you feel about Nebraska? I got into Bruce through that album because I really liked the band Suicide. I don't know what the band Suicide is, but I love Nebraska. It's a tour de force, as they say. Question answered. My brother told me Bruce was inspired by them for that one, but I never hear it. I honestly don't know the bands. I feel very silly right now, but I don't. I'm not super familiar with them. I'm sorry. I'll check them out though. If you say it was a big inspiration, I believe you, or I believe your brother for. All right. Among his correspondence in this beautiful response to his eldest son Tom's 1958 letter, in which a teenage boy confesses to have fallen desperately in love with a girl named Susan while at boarding school. Steinbeck's words of wisdom, tender, optimistic, timeless, infinitely sagacious, should be etched onto the heart and mind of every living, breathing human being. Dear Tom, read your letter this morning. I will answer it from my point of view, and of course, Elaine will from hers. First, if you are in love, that's a good thing. That's about the best thing that can happen to anyone. Don't let anyone make it small or light to you. Oh, this of course goes out to the woman who met her now partner at the B&E live show. Okay, remember all this. Second, there are several kinds of love. One is a selfish, mean, grasping, egotistical thing which uses love for self-importance. This is the ugly and crippling kind. The other is an outpouring of everything good in you, of kindness and consideration and respect. Not only the social respect of manners, but the greater respect which is recognition of another person as unique and valuable. The first kind can make you sick and small and weak, but the second can release in you strength and courage and goodness and even wisdom you didn't know you had. You say this is not puppy love. If you feel so deeply, of course it isn't puppy love. But I don't think you were asking me what you feel. You know better than anyone. What you wanted me to help you with is what to do about it, and that I can tell you. Glory in it, for one thing, and be very glad and grateful for it. The object of love is the best and most beautiful. Try to live up to it. If you love someone, there is no possible harm in saying so. Only you must remember that some people are very shy, and sometimes the saying must take that shyness into consideration. Girls have a way of knowing or feeling what you feel, but they usually like to hear it also. It sometimes happens that what you feel is not returned for one reason or another, but that does not make your feeling less valuable and good. Lastly, I know your feeling because I have it, and I'm glad you have it. We will be glad to meet Susan. She will be very welcome, but Elaine will make all such arrangements because that is her province, and she will be very glad to. She knows about love too, and maybe she can give you more help than I can. And don't worry about losing. If it's right, it happens. The main thing is not to hurry. Nothing good gets away. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Beautiful stuff. It's a good place to leave it, folks. No, that's a great place to leave it. How about that? All right. We'll jump on soon. I'll let you know. I love you all. I hope you have a great Wednesday. I hope you get to watch Sinner and Musetti, two Italian boys just battling it out. No matter who wins, and Italians going to the semis. That's all I know. All right, folks, take care. Goodbye.